Alrighty. All right. Everything is up and running. Got a got a lot of craziness to talk about. Waiting for Cody to get in here. Everybody welcome him. We got people kind of funneling in from TikTok as well as YouTube, Facebook, Twitch. We're live on all platforms. So help give us a shout out, like and subscribe, give us a follow. We're going to talk about, of course, all things crypto news, investments, stocks, real estate, business. A lot of craziness going on. A lot of craziness going on with mortgages. A lot of interesting things happening. So bear with me. Our moderators are going to be coming in soon, I suppose. So hopefully, I know it's a weird time for us to go live. So definitely glad to have you guys in. I wanted to quickly talk about, let's go over some basics, quickly talk about what's going on in the markets and stuff. We got the SPF trial going on with the FTX. And we got basically, like I said months ago, all those people putting the blame on SPF. So his ex-girlfriend already just testified against him yesterday. Put the blame solely on him. She said some pretty damning information about him. So it doesn't look too good for him, but it doesn't look too good for anyone who's been involved with FTX. It looks like you got probably going to end up losing all your money, as that money has been spent on degeneracy and all that stuff. Well, that's saying right now we're at a 42 greed and fear index for crypto. Everything's kind of starting to go back in a downward motion. We also have ETH kind of a little bit down, under 1,600. We got Bitcoin under 2,700. We also have market cap at 1.04 trillion, down about 2%, about 26 billion in volume for crypto, as well as about 49% dominance. Over on the stock market side, we got a crazy amount of things going on. We have mortgage rate, or I should say, new mortgages are down to are lower than where they were in 1992. I will be looking to get this get more information on that, because it's kind of crazy. The industry is kind of slowing down. Trucking industry is kind of slowing down. Not enough drivers, not enough people, not enough crazy things going on. So stock market's heading in a downward direction, which is what we all expected. It's probably overall going to have a 50% loss from beginning of 2022 down to the beginning of 2024. But it looks like we're starting to have that crash. And as you know, historically, all of these big crashes always happen in the fall. So usually October, November, December, and usually right before a holiday. So I am looking to really get some. I'm just sorry, I do see some messages come from my moving side. Just want to briefly touch base on. So if you are also got wrapped up in BlockFi, Voyager, and all that stuff, I know that BlockFi, you get some of your money back. I think they're slowly releasing, finding funds and releasing them to people. So just, be cautious on that there. It's not looking good for the next several days there, because I should say in several months, we're going to have a rough election cycle. I can guarantee that we're going to have a rough election cycle. We're also going to have a rough Q4. A lot of businesses aren't making money. We also got to talk a little bit about CarMart and the buy here, pay here scenario with cars. Oh, this is the first time in history that a buy here, pay here company is cheaper and easier to get a vehicle than going to a dealership. Like, I've never seen that. Usually it should be like, oh, you're going to get a clunker for like $800 a month because your credit's poor, or it's something like $250 a week or things like that, right? Not the case. I'm starting to see they're like $460 a month, and it's like a 2019 Ford Ranger or something like that. Wait a minute. I should be getting that price from the dealer. And, me as owning a moving company, we go check out some trucks. We're looking at like $1,200, $1,300, $1,500 a month payment. And it's like, why? let's go to the buy here, pay here down here. I got the same truck, same mileage, same everything for $500 with $2,000 down. I was like, wait a minute, this doesn't make any sense. So what I'm seeing here is that we're going to have a topsy turvy like just economy for the next several, and we're probably not going to see the bottom of this for another two. I'd say probably 2 years, probably 2 years. A shout out to Richard, Pulse Chain. Free is free speech. Pulse Chain is REA DeFi. That I don't really look too much into that stuff. I kind of stay with the blue chip ones, but appreciate your support there, buddy. Really appreciate that. I can't really speak much on it because I haven't really looked into what it is. But I'm really just kind of talking about like this. It's really just the state of the economy here. It's like I'm seeing a downward dive on everything. I'm even watching. This is the first time since 2008 that I'm starting to see like empty commercial, like empty strip malls and plazas. Like businesses are closing up, empty spaces are staying around. We got realtors going back to work, or they're not in the real estate game anymore. There's going to be a shakeup in the commercial real estate sector because the construction contracts that got approved about 3 years ago broke ground maybe 6 months ago. Now they're probably not going to have any tenants for maybe 3, 4, 5, 6 years because businesses are going. A lot of trucking businesses are closing up. Like we had Yellow close up over the weekend, although their non-union business stayed open. So just keep your eye out on that. I think that was a ploy to them to get rid of all the union workers and move over to having everyone be non-union. Just my thoughts on it. But we also got the election cycle coming up. We got election coming up. We got all the things involving around Trump. We got the Israel and Palestine stuff going on that's going to affect energy, the already inflating energy costs. And we have more demand on goods than we have goods available. And then we also have nobody working those jobs that need to get those goods from point A to point B. So we're looking at something really crazy going on. I kind of want to go at the end of the day to talk about some other things. I would kind of want to go talk later on, talk about more about crypto, but really today was just, I'm just kind of like notice I'm watching the SPF case, reading news articles and stuff like that. And the first waves of a big recession is when you start seeing scammers and everything start crumbling. And I'm seeing a lot of it. We have the Tulsa Real Estate Fund. We got those people involved. We got DJ Envy and that other guy that are wrapped up in a Ponzi scheme, a Ponzi real estate scheme. We have quite a few other crypto scams and schemes coming to light. We have YouTubers being exposed and things like that. So I have a feeling, because usually this all happens like right before the big dip, right before everything just tumbles down. And that's what it's looking like. It looks like we're going to have something huge tumble down in the next couple months, like end of this month, sometime in November. I have a feeling we're going to have like a really, really bad day in the stock market, in crypto, in real estate. We got student loans coming back, and I told people I don't think they're going to be forgiven. And now they're coming in and they're going to wreak havoc. They're going to wreak havoc on this because, like, I think 65% of people who have student debt have decided they're like, well, we're just not paying it back. It's like, well, one, it's going to ruin their credit. So, but it is going to temporarily change the financial system. So what's going to happen is that I think if that many people don't pay it back, we won't know until middle of November if those payments went through or not. But what's going to happen is that if they don't go through, if 65% of people who have student loan debt decide they're not going to pay it, and it's mainly because a lot of bumbling idiots in the world that you decide to get a $1,500 car note on on a Dodge Charger, stuff like that, which I'm seeing more and more of those in the repo market. Like the car industry is going to crash, real estate industry is going to crash, and then the rest of the economy is going to crash. And the only thing that's going to be supporting us is really the food industry, because everybody needs food, and the necessities. So Walmart's definitely on my list for a portfolio to really crank it out there, to crank out the gains, because that's what they supply. Target doesn't even focus in on what Walmart focuses on. Yeah, they sell better appliances and clothes and stuff like that, but they don't sell food, and they don't sell toilet paper, paper towels, toothpaste, mouthwash, all the necessities that people will be buying. And that's where we're kind of headed to. And I don't think a lot of people understand that that's where we're headed to. I don't want to sound like doom and gloom, because that's not what I'm trying to do here. But I'm trying to prepare you for the next few months is going to be a big dip where nothing's going to go the way we think it's going to go. The crypto bull run's not going to happen when we think it's going to happen. The stock market's going to pull back harder than we think, and it's not going to recover as fast as we think. So I think if you can just hold on or dollar cost average into strong companies that should make it through, or strong projects, you should be able to make it. And I know that rich brothers blue chips don't get 100x, but you don't become wealthy off of 100x, because they're very rare and hard to find and in between. And most people, you don't have the resources to make constant bets on those, because for every 100x that wins, there's about 1,000 that lose. So, and unless if you're playing with hundreds of billions of dollars, you're never going to be able to find them all and win off of one or two. But what I would do is say that you do have to focus in on getting the gains. Now, we're all going to be losing money over the next 3 to 5 years. I guarantee that. We're all going to be losing money. This economy is going to have a 3 to 5, maybe a decade to reset. But we can make a lot of money in a downward turn. We just have to put the money in the right places. We have to put the money into stocks, the right stocks, the right cryptos, the right projects, the right everything. And in 2 to 3 years, real estate's going to be a really, really, really good buy. But I wanted to kind of get this out here, because it's like, I know a lot of people are trying to find, like, they're talking about the bull run, talking about the economy's great, unemployment's low. No, 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 no. It's all bad. It's all bad. Trust me, it's all bad right now. Everything's going downhill fast, and it's just that a lot of us are kind of like the frog in the boiling water. We don't notice that we're boiling alive, because we've gotten so used to the rev up of the heat. So it's been a slow, steady decline, and we just don't notice it. Nobody's really going to notice it until it affects them personally. So there's a lot of people who are not affected personally yet, but they will start becoming affected. So the reason why I'm saying this is because I'm noticing on my moving side, I have a lot of people who should have money set aside for their move, and they don't. They're trying to find the cheapest route. You're selling your home for $400,000. You should have money to move cross country. If that's what you're intending to, you should have the 10,000, but they don't. They don't even have 2 or 3,000 set aside for it. So it's like, well, what are you going to do? You can't even afford a U-Haul. So here is where we're going. It's going to be utter chaos. And then on top of all of that, we have a declining birth rate. We have people who feel like they're opted out of the economy, opted out of the American dream. So it's going to be a very rough next 5 years, but those who survive it will make it. Shout out to Id Magnus. Thanks for the follow. Really appreciate it. Even though we're just going to have a short live today, but really appreciate that there. And thank you guys for your support. I know that I came on at a really weird time, right around lunchtime for everybody, so I don't expect a lot of people in here. But you can always go back, check our YouTube channel out. Link is in the bio. Check out our Facebook page, our TikTok, everything. Just give us some follows, some likes, and everything. Really appreciate that. I noticed that a lot of my competitors are just disappearing. In a lot of my businesses, they're just slowly chip away. A lot of furniture final mile companies are closing up, because furniture sales are just starting to crumble down. So I would say it's going to be a rough ride. It's going to be a rough ride. And we also have people, evictions are going up. I can already tell you right now that it's going. One, my eviction cleanups are gonna pick up. I know that we're also going to see a decline in, like, we're going to see dealerships close up, like big dealerships. They're going to start tightening their budgets, closing up, and everything. We're going to start seeing the decline of, like, all these like fancy gyms. They're all going to be going because this is how people do it. You make sure you pay your house, you make sure you pay your cell phone, and then your car. Everything else after that is going to get dropped. So your gym membership is going to get dropped. Your Hulu's going to get dropped. Your Netflix is going to get dropped. Your Disney Plus is going to get dropped. The only thing that's probably going to survive this crazy turn is YouTube because it's free. You can get on there, you just watch it for free. It's kind of become the new television. I think YouTube's going to be the new recession-proof business. So Google's probably going to make it through. But there's a lot of zombie companies that are going to be gone. There's a lot of traditional companies that are going to be gone. We got a lot of poor acquisitions, and we're also going to understand that we're going to have one big bank fail. Not one of We're going to have one of the top eight too big to fail banks fail. We're going to have one of them fail. That's how the system's going to reset. One of them has to go down and not be saved. Like, they're going to choose capitalism on that one, not socialism, and it's going to fail. Shout out to in Magnus, rough the next 5 years. Fiscal year 2024 has already started. Yes, that is correct. Shout out to Steve. Welcome back in. Glad to have you in here because of the war. Well, energy will definitely spike because of the war, because the Middle East the conflict in Israel and the Palestinians does affect energy exports of oil and natural gas from the area. So it's definitely not going to be a good. It's definitely going to be a good. Not going to be a good time, but we're going to see a spike in fuel right around the holidays, and it's going to. I'm telling you, this is probably going to be the worst uh, Q4 for holiday shopping too on the economy as a whole. Shout out to Id Magnus. 275 banks have already failed. That's about average. Small banks fail left and right, and usually the ones that aren't participating in the FDIC insurance. Um, but yeah, normally about 200 to 300 banks fail per year. Out of I think there's about 50 to 60,000 banks in the U.S., not counting credit unions. But they usually fail because of poor management of the deposits and funds, things like that. But what we're really worried about is, like, it's either going to be Bank of America, Chase, Citibank, uh, Goldman Sachs, the J.P. Morgan side, like, Wells Fargo. It's going to be one of those. Wells Fargo is not even making money off of mortgages because they're completely out of the mortgage industry. They're not even writing new loans, so they might be the one to go down, because Bank of America and Wells Fargo were doing some shady stuff over the last 5 years with not only mortgages and accounts, things like that, but it's going to be crazy. I've Shout out to Magnus. It'll be Wells Fargo. It could be. I have someone I know that works at Wells Fargo, and um, it's not looking good. He's pretty worried about his job. I think it's I think they're probably going to, because if you can't make money on mortgages, which is what most banks traditionally make money, they take the depositors' money, reinvest it back in the community as mortgages, and then earn interest off the mortgages. That's how a bank makes money. Other than that, they use depositors' funds to buy U.S. bonds, national debt, and that's how they make money off of your deposits. However, less if we're at 1992 mortgage rates, we're going to look at, because 1992, 3 and 4 were pretty bad years. 95 to 2000 were great economic boom years. So if that's going to be the case, it's going to force a reset in all levels. So mortgages will reset, banks will reset, stocks will reset, like everything, the whole economy will reset. Uh, Shout out to Id Magnus. Mortgage department is gone. They closed because we're off the LIBOR SBR system. Now it's the SOFR, which is variable. Yes. And variable, they've been doing variable rates for a while. And I know a lot of people, they're trying to sell their houses that were investment properties that got off of uh, APR mortgages. Like, I don't know why you'd ever do an APR mortgage, especially trying to do not doing the research on the rental property and things like that. You should only do an APR mortgage if you only plan to have that mortgage for maybe like 6 months to don't like it's got to be a quick turnaround investment property. Like, I would not do an APR loan on a house I plan to have for 20 years, but that's what they're doing. So, and unfortunately, it's going to be bad. And unfortunately, I hate to say it, it's going to be the minority communities are going to hurt the worst in this economic downturn. And no one's people think it's all going to be no, it's going to be that, and not to in a lot of the major cities like Target, Kohl's, a lot of big companies are closing those stores. So we're losing jobs slowly but surely. We're losing affordable products in certain areas where they're going to be the worst hit by the recession and inflation. So it's not looking too good. I don't see whoever takes over in 2024, whoever wins that election, which whoever it becomes, you're going to have the worst economy that we've had in a long time coming. This next year, it's going to be the worst. I thought 2023 was bad, but 2024 is going to be even worse. Count on it. I'm already seeing people closing up their box trucks. They're like their OTR freight companies, all that stuff. Um, it's it's not going to be pretty. Now, for me, I kind of saw this coming in 2022 and 2021. I knew that the boom in the moving and delivery industries were not, because I do own a moving company and a logistics company, and I knew that the boom was not something I was doing with my business. It was just a boon in the economy. So we took all that money, we saved all that money, and I just reserved my business. And now we're looking forward to the next business and the next avenue that we got to go down in. And now is the time for someone like me who has been preparing for everyone's downfall to start buying up some of my competitors or buying up some businesses at pretty heavy discounts. And to be honest with you guys, that's how you get wealthy. It's not about finding the 100x. It's not about finding this get rich quick. It's just about buying crap when everyone else is scared, tumbling, and running away. That's when you're going in and buying hard. So with that being said, though, be careful out there, guys. Stay safe. Shout out to Id Magnus. Thanks for the shout out, buddy. Been finding a lot of like-minded, knowledgeable individuals lately. Hey, follow us every day because Cody might not be on. He might have. He's right now. He's a young guy, 23, working 2 jobs. Normally has Wednesday off, but he's also running down and getting stuff. Probably trying to get another job and get as much cash as he can. 2024 is going to be super bad. 2023 won't even compare. Fed predicts 97% insolvency for U.S. citizens. Yeah, and the United States as a whole is beyond the world history 130% default rate. So we're in the category where the U.S. government is going to default. Like, we're past the 130% margin rate where 100% of countries have defaulted. Now, that default is usually meant in a big recession, like a Great Recession again, or rapidly high inflation, rapid devaluation of currency. There's a lot of crazy things that could result in. And we no longer are a producing company, we're a service country. So now that most people are in service and there's a lot of people not producing a lot of value, and we're having less people doing stuff, we're headed for a pretty rough pretty rough next 30 years. Not gonna lie, it's gonna be a rough 30 years, but there's still ways to win. You guys just gotta understand, don't chase those experiences, don't chase that bullshit. Focused on getting your assets together, and your biggest asset will be your income. And if you're worried about your job, I suggest you get a second job, because that's probably what's going to help make it through. Everyone's going to talk shit about it, but guess what? When the curtain comes down, they're all going to be panicking. You're going to be like, well, I got 2 jobs. I paid off debts. I paid off a lot of things. I'm going to make it happen. Uh, Shout out to Id Magnus. UBI is being heavily tested. Deflation is correct. We can still play defense. Yeah, you can absolutely can, because if the currency is devalued, then you just got to own assets. So, and by assets, I mean you got to have physical ownership in companies, land ownership, owning a business that has a huge part of goods and services, things like that. And that's all easily done. And what you can do is align yourself with businesses that thrive in downward economic times. I know Walmart's not the best place to work for, but Walmart's probably going to be the one company that's going to make bank out of this. They're going to be twice the value in the next 5 years, because this is the market they thrive in. I wouldn't even count on the dollar stores, because they're suffering with inflation, and they go off of the bottom of economic status people, so they're going to be the worst hurt. But shout out to Agnes, thanks for chiming in. This was real short because I do have to go. I have a job that I got to go do at 2:00. So thank you, and thank you guys. If you guys could like and subscribe, follow us on TikTok and YouTube, really appreciate it. I'm gonna be back on probably late in the evening with Cody, and we can go from there. Go have talk more about the SBF trial and crypto there. So thank you guys for all your support. I'm gonna check you guys. Have a good day.